Are you able to set healthy boundaries in your relationships? Hi, I'm Dominique DeVito with YesTantra.com, and today I want to talk with you about boundaries. I know I had a really hard time setting healthy boundaries in relationships. When I began dating, I wanted to have a romantic relationship, and I just kept having challenges with partners that I was choosing. When I began dating, I was just not aware about how important it was to have healthy boundaries in relationships. It's just something that was never discussed with me or even a part of my home life because I live with a single mom and she's an alcoholic. So when you live in a home with a mom, or which you, any parent, when you live at home and there's an alcoholic in the household, they are, so drunk and can be so belligerent and argumentative, etc., that there's just no boundaries don't even exist. Like for me, there were no healthy boundaries in place. She would just walk all over my boundaries, would want to start arguments with me, and just kind of say shocking things, and so do things that would hurt my feelings. And the next day when she was sober, want to act like everything was okay, and then wash, rinse, repeat. The next thing would happen, day in and day out. So I didn't even realize till later, as I was an older adult. I think I was probably even in my 30s. So it was a long time for me to learn this lesson, and I wish I would have learned it more quickly because it would have saved me a lot of heartbreak. But I noticed when I reflected back in the patterns of my past partners that whenever I would see red flags or red flags were presented to me, I would ignore it because, I just was like, I had already tolerated so much within my relationship at home with my mother that I just, I was able to tolerate a lot. So nothing was as bad as like the alcoholic mom. So as long as they were being sober, if when they would demonstrate other bad behaviors, sometimes I would find myself tolerating things I should not tolerate. And later, people do reveal to you who they are. So if you see a warning sign, don't think things are going to get better. Like there are hints dropped in the beginning of relationships, but we're so much in the honeymoon phase that we just like overlook them. And then later it comes back and smacks us in the face. And you're like, oh my gosh, why did I just not like run the other way when I first saw evidence of this? So after the honeymoon wears off, then things just can go from bad to worse. And trust me, I have been there. I have had some really heartbreaking, challenging relationships. And then I would break up and then find myself in these patterns and cycles of choosing the same type of partners. So later, as I have a best friend, and her mother is alcoholic too. So we would just get along great. But when we would give each other advice about dating, it wasn't always the best because we never had healthy boundaries demonstrated. And then as I started my journey with Tantra and I started loving myself more and deepening my self-love practice, then I was able to set up healthier boundaries for myself. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to show people how I deserve to be treated by first treating myself that way. And then by me treating myself this way, then I was able to reject and kind of like law of attraction, kind of repel people that were not able to raise up to my level of how I treat myself. So that was one of the first things I decided to do. But when I had a conversation with my bestie, I told her one day, I said, you know what, I think because most people, if they had like a normal kind of more healthy home life, then whenever they would see certain behaviors that she and I had experienced in some bad relationships, they would just like not even enter the relationship. But, when you don't have examples of healthy boundaries and you never really think about that, then, you can kind of let all kinds of things happen that you should never, never, never tolerate. So as I've been learning healthy boundaries and I'm setting more and more of those, it's really enabled me to have a much healthier life. And it's been able to, my relationships are flourishing within that because then I'm not upset with other people and being upset with them because they're making me feel some kind of way. It's like, well, this is a behavior that you're allowing or you're not setting your boundary on that. So then I have to take accountability for myself. And, if you always are saying also with not having boundaries, another thing that kind of goes hand in hand with that is people pleasing. So then you find yourself saying yes to things that you may want to say no to. And so your ability to say no is like not to be hurtful. It's really gives you the ability to have a better life for yourself. So that way you can say yes to yourself. So those are just things that I carried over from having a mother that was an alcoholic. the people pleasing to keep things kind of chill and easy so that there wouldn't be too much drama, so that she wouldn't be angered very easily, and just not having healthy boundaries, just not having those demonstrated to me. So Tantra really gave me a lot of tools, and it's helped me to see, the ways that I can care for myself, how important my own self-love is, and how when I have a better relationship with myself, then I'm able to have better relationships with other people. And that I deserve, I've just raised my awareness on what I deserve. And as I've loved myself more, I just tend to attract people that are able to love me more deeply and in more healthy ways than the relationships that I used to allow with my younger self. So just if you're having a challenging relationship, or you're wanting to change and kind of experience self-love because you're just feeling a lack of love in your life, I encourage you to just put a comment, say yes below in the comments, or send me a message, and we can find a time for a discovery call and see how we can work together, because these skills will help you to live a life that you love much more. When I work with my clients, I first start them with self-love practices, and I talk to them about their self-talk, and I encourage them to set healthy boundaries. And that's kind of the foundation that I build the other Tantra practices that I teach them. And they've come away from this learning how to experience better relationships and more love and happiness in their life. And I invite you to do the same. So if you're tired of repeating the same negative patterns, if you're tired of choosing partners that aren't able to love you, and if you're ready to stop searching for love outside of yourself and realize that you have love within you, I encourage you to drop a comment below. Just hit yes in the comments or send me a message, and we can find a time to jump on a discovery call and see if working together is a fit for you. And I just look forward to connecting with you, and I wish you all the best. And just set boundaries like a motherfucker, because you will not regret it. Do not feel bad. Do not feel shame. I am here to be your cheerleader and let you know it is time for you to take a stand for yourself and to live the life and the love life that you deserve. Much love, Dominique.